Welcome to the Strong Friend Podcast. We're here, you don't gotta be. I'm your host, Myko Glaze. So sit back, relax, and let's talk. What's up, everybody? It's Myko Glaze. Welcome to the second episode of the Strong Friend Podcast. So, we made it past that awkward introduction, and I'm glad that's over because now I'm ready to talk, ready to tell my story. So today's episode is the stronger, the better, right? The stronger, the better. I'm gonna let you ponder that, what that means to you and what it may mean to me. We'll unpack it. If you hear my paper in the background, is because I'm trying to organize my thoughts better. So I gave myself a couple of questions to ask out loud and talking points for me to expound on with you. We're going to unpack this together. We're in this together. So my first question that I wrote is, what is strong to you? But I know what strong is to me. But I looked it up and it's funny because I'm going to paraphrase because I don't want to grab my phone because I'm in such a good position to just keep talking. I looked it up and basically it had all to do with bearing the ability to bear great physical strength. Then it said robust, which was like my favorite word under there. Then it said wealth and power. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm black like this and not like this. And it's okay if you're not. You may be, white or tan like this and not like this. So, my people have always attribute being strong to not just physical work, again, I'm black. So, my people have been doing physical work forever in this country, specifically, and probably since the dawn of time. But we've always put being strong on our spirit, and nowhere in the definition of us needing to be strong has it ever applied to our spirit, apparently. And so I guess in the moment and in the thought of it, it's literally reshaping the way that I've seen strength. And, I and you, now that we know this, because we can't go back to not knowing things, we kind of have the opportunity to forgive ourselves for misidentifying the work that's supposed to be done with our spirits. And I forgive myself for that from this day forth because I never knew that my spirit didn't have to be strong. Now, my spirit may need to be powerful, which I guess was under there as a synonym of strong. And my spirit may need to be, gifted with long suffering, possibly. I hope not. I mean, I'm willing to, I'm a willing vessel to do the work, but, my spirit has never been obligated to be strong per Merriam-Webster's definition. And that's crazy because think about that, friend. We've been sitting around forcing ourselves to be mightier and to be tougher and hell, be strong when you don't even have to. That's so funny. I'm laughing at myself for being an idiot about it, but it is what it is. And like I said, I forgive myself. And this is an opportunity where if you've been applying it all wrong, go ahead and forgive yourself and release that and allow yourself to, give yourself some more grace and not be strong for a second, because there may be a whole nother level that you're going to reach after knowing this. And I give thanks for that. Okay. My next question is, who told you to be strong? And when you answer that to yourself, what I'd like for you to do, keeping it real, is answer it in a way that you're not blaming yourself. I think that this is a learned behavior. This is a conditioning. And somebody first in the world told you to be strong. I want you to ponder that. And I'm going to share my personal instances where the first time ever or two in my life I ever was told to be strong or was made to be strong. And as a kid, it's always without permission. It's a command. And once you're commanded in a certain way, a certain amount of times, it sticks. You get what I'm saying? It sticks. And no, I didn't have being a tough guy beat into me. I want to be very, very clear. I've always been able to express my emotions freely as they came. Yeah, definitely. And if not, I took that space. So, yeah. Sorry to that man. My Kiki Palmer voice. Anyways, so my first time needing to be strong and learning to be strong was when I was younger. I was afraid of the dark. And I mean, I was like dreadfully afraid of the dark. It's crazy. But now that I'm older, I understand that as a kid, I was very spiritually gifted, as I am now. So a lot of that was just the vulnerability. The ability to see things that other people can't will make you look crazy to a lot of other people. And in a black household, sometimes you don't, that's not always a recognized set of life skills, just spiritual gifts. And then the other thing is being raised diehard Christian. You know, you're taught that God didn't give you a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind, and you're taught to pray it all away in things. But sometimes, you know, your mind is sound, your spirit just isn't. You know, and until people learn how to ground for themselves and what that looks like for them, you're just you raised in a black household. You're gonna believe a certain way. So there's no persecution, no, you know, harm, no foul, because the things I know now are greater than the things that I needed to know at 6. But the first time I remember needing to be strong was against my fear of the dark. And what happened was we came home one night. And it's funny, if my dad ever hears this, he's going to chuckle to himself because this is me for real. We came home one night and the door was locked without the keys. Something happened that we didn't have the house key or something. And when I was little, I was small enough to kind of fit through the basement window. And I was charged with climbing in and going to open the door. But at the time, I was petrified. Like, listen to me, y'all. Um, I was so scared. Like, that was crazy. Um, and I got put through the window, and it took me a long time to get to the door. One, because I couldn't see, and two, because it was so dark that when I first got inside, I was paralyzed with fear. Like paralyzed with fear. On top of already like being spiritually gifted, I was just damn scared of the dark. And like I was in the basement, so I had to go upstairs and then make it to the front door to open the front door. And I was so scared, but the thing that made me strong um, is I knew that if I made it through the dark, I would get my family on the outside in the house and be a hero of sorts. And that got me through. That and actually telling myself, God didn't give you a spirit of fear, uh, which worked. You know what I'm saying? The Bible ain't all wrong. And, it's some things in there that we can keep because, strong friend. Listen, I was scared. But that's the first time I ever remember needing to be strong. And as an adult, I think about how beautiful that was because it was also probably my first triumph that I can remember in my mind where there was the mountain in front of me and I overcame it and I didn't stay where I was, but I moved to where I knew I had to be and I got the door open for everybody and that made me feel good because again, as a strong friend, sometimes we feel good making other people feel good. And that was my first time being like, yeah, I'm lit because I am lit, but I didn't know that when I was that young, but I felt that. Like, so that might have been my first taste of being lit. The second time that I remember needing to be strong, it's when I heard my mother say, "You're the strong one. I don't worry about you because I don't have to." Um, so that charged me with being strong at a very young age and without asking my permission. And again, when you're raised in a black household, there are certain things that you're gonna hear. There's one of me in every single family. There's actually probably two of me in mine for real. I have a sister who she's a way better person than I am, but I love her, and she's if I gotta say I got one strong friend, it's gonna be her. But when my mom told me that, what that did was it made me responsible for being strong forever after that. And I didn't, I'm glad she told me because as a man, I'm gonna say I'm happy that she didn't expect for me to be weak and cower. But after unpacking the definition of what strength is and just knowing, I think it rested in a space that was not healthy for a very long time. And again, I wasn't silenced as a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? I took my moments if they didn't want to give me my moments. I haven't always been the most innocent, docile person. But when I heard, I don't worry about you because I don't have to, it made me, as a young person, not ever want to be something that somebody had to worry about. Because if your mama not worried about you, who the hell else is? And again, our parents are raised to raise us how they know. or how they see fit. And that's cool because, again, I'm 42. So those parts of healing have come. But when you hear you're the strong one, it felt like a badge of honor as well. So once again, um, here I am in this instance, for real, being ever triumphant and overachieving, and so it wasn't resting in the right space. It was great affirmation, you know. In all honesty, if you're gonna speak on me, speak life, but you have to show your babies how to be the strong one. There's no blueprint to the strong one. And folk don't just want to be the strong one, damn it. But here we are, strong as hell, sitting here, unpacking it together. As I speak, I feel like I'm relating to somebody. It hasn't happened yet because these episodes are pre-recorded, but this is going to relate to somebody. And thank you for listening thus far, as well as, thank you for keeping it real with yourself and with me. And then the day you hear this, go out and keep it real with somebody that you're going to encounter and allow them to keep it real with you. Don't don't be the strong one for a minute. Try that. Um, this is, I guess, we're re-therapying, um, which is okay because I love y'all if y'all love me, and even if you don't, I probably still love you. And if you want to fight, find me. I don't want to fight though. So the third question that I wrote down: who is the strongest person you know, and why? Now, when you think of this person and when you think of their strength and you think of your why for them, um, make sure you give them grace. Make sure you apply today's lesson that you got to learn um, to your why. Now you can reshape it. You can reframe them being the strongest person. Maybe have they been asked if they're willing to? If you're the strong friend, you understand that. Your permission is important, and sometimes people don't recognize that for you. But I recognize that for you, and I recognize that for the strongest person that you know as well, because a lot of us were told and we were never asked to be strong. We were made to be strong. Thus far, we've unpacked that that's kind of unfair, but here we are. So I have, um, and I want to say this. When I speak to you guys, I'm going to speak very candidly because you're my strong friend. I'm your strong friend. What makes us tick, right? So the strongest person that I know, um, I'm just going to talk through whatever. And I'll make this part quick because I don't know how it's going to touch me, but we're being honest and I'm holding space for myself as well as I'm holding space for you. But the strongest person I know is, um, he, he's, I don't want to refer to him in past tense because, um, I just don't want to. But his name is Timothy Johnson, and um, he is my best friend of 20 years. on earth. And that is and has always been the hero that I never in my entire life knew that I needed. Uh, I can breathe. Um, so he passed away, and anybody that knows me as a real physical person in real life knows the sentiment of our relationship. It wasn't a love relationship like in that way. It was nothing intimate. But it was it was the first time ever in my whole entire life I met somebody who came from the same spaces that I came from, who understood the same things that I understood in the same ways, but better. And when I say but better, I mean, listen to me. I used to be a firecracker. I used to be like, my attitude was a mess. And that was the first person to ever teach me not to do things in mixed company. And how he taught me how not to do things in mixed company was he pulled me aside and he told me. He didn't try to embarrass me and he didn't go there with me because the issue that we were having wasn't even with him. And he said it for somebody else. I was in a relationship and I had an attitude with my partner at the time, and I expressed the hell out of that attitude. And it was big and it was loud and it was just damn near violent. I feel like um, on my part, I was wrong. I didn't have any self control. So my friend who loved me as a person and understood my fundamental goodness on the inside, but also understood that everybody looking at me wasn't thinking about that shit at the time, pulled me aside and really like checked me about the way I was to my significant other, who I walked in with like I loved, but in a moment, in a second, my attitude flipped so quickly and so greatly that that overshadowed all of that. Um, that was a great lesson for me to learn, and I'm so glad I learned it from him because he was a black man and he was a year younger than me, but he was my peer, and he that was strength. That, first of all, he told me to my face. He didn't text me and write that shit down and leave it on the counter and then he told me to my face that I had a moment that was not respectable. And I respect him for that. And he also understood that my level of emotional intelligence was low and I needed to be addressed because nobody had ever told me that. Everybody was used to me clocking, so nobody wanted to check me on my behavior. But he did it in a real good way, in a real healthy way, and I learned that, and it stays with me. Not only does that make him one of the strongest people, but I'm telling you, you guys, that is, I've never been a weak person, spiritually, physically, or anything. But anything that I could do, he could entirely do better. And I owe him my life. When I was, you know, when my mental health was poor and I didn't want to live, and I used to do things to hurt myself. And he would come and see me in those special places where they would lock you up for those things. And he would tell me off. And then the last time that happened, you know what made me get some self control was he told me he wasn't coming back. If I did it again, he wasn't coming back. And that was one of the pushes that made me stop trying to hurt myself. It didn't teach me how to love myself, but it did teach me that somebody loved me. And you know, for that, I will forever be grateful. Um, I won't sit here and ramble about him, but that's the strongest person I know. Um, and I owe that man a debt of gratitude. And if I could talk to him today, you know, face to face. That would be all I wanted to talk about. Not where he been or why he died or how it's felt without him. I would just want to thank him immensely for being my strong friend and being the allowing me to not have to be strong in my moments, you know. Yeah. So yeah, let's let's move from that because humanity is setting in. So yeah, what is strength to you? Like, you know, who told you you had to be strong? Who's the strongest person you know? Did you know that the definition of strength has nothing to do with your spirit? So your spirit is not actually responsible for being strong. And I'm going to say this. Once you reshape what strong looks like for you, the stronger the better, baby. You know, make it your own. And the stronger the better. The stronger are usually better. But the stronger the better, you know. Take your time. Show yourself grace, because that's a sign of strength. The strength to back off of something, especially when that something is you, and be kind. You know, like that is a valuable strength to have. Love is a good strength. You know, I'm reshaping what strong is to me in my head right now. And so when I click off of here, I'm going to do some more thinking because that's very interesting. Well, I guess this has been episode 2 of the Strong Friend podcast. Feel free to go back and count how many times we said the word strong and strength because this episode is all about that. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. Sorry if this was drawn out, and well, actually, I'm not, like, because this is gonna reach somebody who needed to hear the lessons that I had to learn from my friend, and this is his legacy. So I don't necessarily apologize for going on and on and on, but hey, if you made it this far, I hope there was something here for you today, and I hope you're loving yourself, and I hope you're in a clear headspace to show somebody else love. And yeah, this has been the Strong Friend podcast. I am Myko Glaze, and I hope to meet up with y'all later on. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Strong Friend podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on all social media.